Shalom, my name is Adam Wasser and I am a dyslexic. I have dyslexia. When I was in first grade, I was diagnosed with having dyslexia with problems reading, writing, and doing math. The teachers would tell my father, "You're lucky if he'll be a garbage man." They just, in those days in the 80s, they just had no hope. My father, with my mother, passed away, persevered and worked towards my future and making the best for me. Thank God, as time continued, even though with great struggle in yeshiva and in public school, I was able, when I was 19 years old, to go to Israel, and I was in Ulpan, and through Ulpan learning Hebrew, I was starting reading and writing in English to understand the Hebrew, and I slowly began to be capable of reading and writing. By 25, I went to college. I got my associate's degree, my GED, and then I got my BS in psychology and education and a 3.0 in college. Dyslexia has always been a challenge for me. It's always been a great obstacle for me, and it's always been like the second half of me. It's completely always consumed me. And sometimes it took control. But for a long time now, I've been able to overcome it and work around it and deal with it and use it to my advantage. And anyone who has dyslexia should use dyslexia to their advantage in every way, because it is a part of you and it will never go away. No matter how great you can read or write, it will always be there. It will always somehow control the limit of how far you can go. I was a teacher for 3 years in special ed. Now I work with handicapped individuals, and I have to do a lot of paperwork every day, and my spelling is atrocious. When I write to everyone on Facebook, it's through voice recognition, it's through Dragon Speak, and when I speak it, it writes it for me. And anybody who has this problem spelling, definitely get Dragon Speak. It's about $100. It's worth it. It's changed my life. Nonetheless, when I write, I know that my supervisors are seeing my spelling, and it has held me back in going farther, and I'm working around it and dealing with it. And I know that everyone can do the same. One problem with dyslexia is that in the public schools and even in the yeshivas, they like to stick people, for financial reasons, that have special learning problems with behavior problem children, and they combine the two. And that usually means that the child who has a learning problem becomes a behavior problem as well. Should we separate them? I don't know about that, because a lot of times they complement the two. What the truth is how do we motivate them? How do we bring them together to learn and to control their behavior issues? Because a lot of times, let me tell you, when you can't read or write or do math, you're a behavior issue automatically because of the frustration involved and the lack of desire in wanting to do something that you're seriously challenged in. We need to recreate the special ed system, not only in the yeshivas but in the public schools. It's a serious balgan, and don't say that we should have schools that are just for special ed, because when you create a school that's just for special ed, yeah, it's I've been in them. They're beautiful, but at the same time, now you're putting people in one package, and they're not in tune with the larger population, and the larger population is not in tune with them. I was picked on a lot in my life for having learning disabilities, and I was in Young Judea, was funded by Hadassah, and let me tell you, it's a beautiful Zionist, modern Orthodox, secular organization, and nobody ever picked on me, and everybody was beautiful and very helpful in my life. And thank God for Young Judea. They helped me so much in my life. But there were other places where I didn't have such a wonderful experience being dyslexic. And my father and my sister, I would have never made it this far without them. There's a lot to learn about dyslexia. They say it's a chemical imbalance in the brain, and that some people say, oh, you see words backwards. In my case, I see words just like everyone else. And I know many dyslexics that see all the words the same as everybody else. It's not a matter of having glasses. But there are people that do have that issue. But in the general public of special ed, it's not seeing things different. It's just taking it in and memorizing it. You can memorize the continents and geographic stuff and history, and you can memorize it beautifully, but You can't memorize how to spell words like metropolis or be well, or simple words even. God bless you all, and no matter what, even if you don't have dyslexia but you have some other problem, you can overcome it. You can. You just need to work with the problem, work with the disability, and make it a strength instead of an obstacle. In many ways, having a problem is a blessing because it strengthens the individual, it makes you stronger, it makes you more wise about the world around you and people around you. And that is true for me with dyslexia. I would not be who I am today if I did not have dyslexia. And in many ways, I'm grateful for having dyslexia because I've learned so much about life and about people. God bless you all, and Mashiach now. Amen.